Pedro Pierluisi, a member of the Pro-statehood New Progressive Party, was leading by more than 12,000 votes with more than 95% of the votes counted, the Associated Press reported. Bloomberg NewsPuerto Rico teed up a post-bankruptcy campaign for statehood on Tuesday as a result of unofficial voter approval of a non-binding statehood referendum along with the apparent victory of pro-statehood gubernatorial candidate Pedro Pierluisi. Pierluisi, a member of the pro-statehood New Progressive Party, was leading by more than 12,000 votes with more than 95% of the votes counted, the Associated Press reported. Pierluisi led his next closest challenger Carlos Delgado of the Popular Democratic Party that supports Puerto Rico's current status. The two are among 5 candidates in the race to lead the U.S. territory as the successor to interim Governor Wanda Vázquez Garced, who lost an August primary. Pierluisi had 380,704 votes, or 32.4% of the ballots counted to Delgado's 368,369 votes, or 31.4%, according to the Puerto Rico State Commission on Elections. Jenniffer González, Puerto Rico's current non-voting representative in the U.S. House and Pierluisi's running partner, easily won a second term. The referendum on U.S. statehood was leading with more than 52% support, with more than 95% of votes counted, the Associated Press reported. Any chance for statehood, however, is dependent on a Democratic sweep of both chambers of Congress and the White House. President Trump and the Republican-controlled Senate expressed opposition earlier this year to statehood legislation for the District of Columbia that passed the Democratic-controlled House on June 26 by a vote of 232 to 180. The Trump administration published a statement of administration policy, indicating its opposition to district statehood on June 24, 2 days prior to the House vote. In contrast, Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden and Senate Democratic Minority Leader Chuck Schumer have gone on record as supporting statehood for Puerto Rico. A Democratic administration and Congress could move legislation approving statehood for both Puerto Rico and the District of Columbia. There's no constitutional requirement for a referendum on the issue. But a majority of American voters recently indicated support for statehood for Puerto Rico and D.C. In fact, 97.2% of Puerto Rico voters who participated in a June 2017 plebiscite preferred statehood compared to 1.5% who chose free association independence and 1.3% who chose the current territorial status. But that 2017 referendum was considered flawed because many opponents of statehood stayed away from the polls and turnout was only 23%, approximately 518,000 of 2.3 million voters. This week's referendum was paired with a hotly contested gubernatorial election. Public opinion on the U.S. mainland also supports statehood.